Welcome to the live webinar series. Today we are going to talk about the animation and the human assets, the library parts of the software, and you will learn how to create animated people walking on the street, vehicles passing by in front of the camera. But for those of you who don't know what ARCHLine.XP Live actually is, let me have you a 2 minutes short presentation before we start digging into the details. Let's see. So today's exciting topic is about adding animated human characters and cars, other vehicles, and other objects to the project. By the way, the project is from one of our users, which we are very thankful for. And I will create an animation like this. What you can see here, it's a 20 seconds short animation where we already have people running around, talking to each other, walking and going into the building, and cars passing by and other objects that are animated. So I will also show you how to create an animation like this when the camera is following someone that is walking on the street. So let's see how that goes. I actually have this project. Let me just start with a very simple thing. So here I will place from the navigator, from the library, I will place a human. As you can see, you can find a lot of objects here: cars, decorative items, and human assets. And if you place, for example, Sophia here, you can just rotate her around, refine her position, and then now by simply standing there and just seemingly she's waiting for someone. So this part of the project is already telling a story by simply just adding a human, an animated human character. So that's very simple. So let's see what else we can do, because actually there's a difference between characters here in the navigator in the human library. Let's add one. She will be Carla. She is standing here, and I'll rotate her around, change her position a little bit, and as we can see, she is standing there, moving a little bit, breathing, and waiting there to be to talk to someone, for example. And let me just add Fabian here. Now Fabian will not move, because as you can see, there's a difference between the two icons. Fabian has no play icon and Carla has one. So that is a difference between stationary like statue-like objects and objects or decorative items or humans that are having this play icon here, she is by default having a movement here. So let's just go and see what we can do with the object properties. If you enable object properties at the left hand side, you will see that she is actually standing in place because the selected animation, the default selected animation, is standing in place. If you select, for example, token, she starts a conversation with Fabian. But in case of Fabian, because she is a stationary object, you won't have an option like that you can select her to talk or wait or something like that. She will just stand in place. But if you actually use two characters that are both animated as part of this project, let me just place Eric here, and let me just place Claudia here, like that. And I will just elevate her a little bit to refine her position, and I will rotate Eric around by doing like this. And in that case, I can select Eric and Claudia and tell them to either Claudia should listen to the conversation and Eric should talk in that conversation. So with those two very, very simple settings, you can already set up a nice and detailed part of this project from this point of view, which I actually already created an animation. I will show you how to do that as well in correlation with the animated assets. So you can see that these characters are already adding a lot of detail to your design, and those are actually motion captured characters from render people, and there's a very, very nice and detailed characters, either the stationary or the moving ones, that you can easily make part of your project as decorative and living items in your design. Should that be an animation, or should that be just a stationary image that you want to have? Okay, so let's just go back and see what else I can do. I can, for example, place Manuel over here, and I can tell him to crouch and check the tires of his car. He is there now and doing that. Or I can just move him around, and let me just zoom into that part. And instead of just simply having people that are only standing in one position, I would like to move him to this location of this pavement, and then I want to make him walk and approach this building and go inside this building. Perhaps he has an apartment here. So I'm just selecting walking, and well, as you can see, that is not enough because this character Manuel only has one place and he does not know the path. So actually you need to define a path. So let me just change this back to standing place. This is more natural now. And I don't even worry about the orientation of Manuel, because that will be automatically solved once you start adding a path animation. So you just click here and you start moving this little circle, this little sphere. And this little sphere is where you will place the so-called nodes for this animation path. The nodes are the representative points of this animation, this path, where Manuel should go through. And in case you would like to turn him over, you should refine the path with a little bit more of these nodes. And take care, because you can actually click on any sort of surfaces, and we don't want Manuel to walk on the wall. So actually just like that. And then once you are done, you can just hit enter as you're instructed here, or hit escape. And once you do that, Manuel will automatically face this direction, and you only need to do is to select walking, and he starts walking with the proper speed, because the speed is automatically selected according to what sort of moving animation you select for Manuel. So let's just change this to, for example, jogging. In that case, he starts jogging, and again he is jogging with the proper speed. Or you can select something else, like I don't know, like walking cheerfully, or walking and texting, or perhaps walking and looking around. Those are all having their own speeds. You can change that. I will show you how that works later. You can change that, but you don't have to. This is all things that you by default have as a ready-to-use setting. What else? For example, what happens if I don't want Eric to start from here, but from a different location. You can select this here, and you can just refine the starting position, and once the animation is restarted, he will start from there. You can do the same thing with another part of this animation path. If you don't want to have a node because it is just too complex and you want to make it simpler, you just select that node and hit delete on your keyboard, and then it will remove that node from that path. Or also, if you would like to, you can add a new node into that by clicking on this little cross icon, and then you can just refine the position of that node and place it wherever you want. So this is how you can change and refine the path once you have created something like that. What if I change my mind and I want him to come out of the building? In that case, there is this option here which is allowing you to have a forward or reverse animation, or also you can set up a ping pong animation. In that case, this is the third one. When he reaches the final destination, he will automatically turn around and come back and walk this path and then turn around, and this is what he will repeat continuously. As you can see now, he is turning around and coming back. Well, I will use this with another animation, but I think this is just fine now. Okay, so let's add one another character. I would like to place, for example, Nathan into this location, and he's facing the wrong way, but again, I don't worry about that because that will be automatically fixed when I define the path. And all I do, I just define the proper path along this pavement, and I don't worry about what happens there because that will be out of frame and I won't create an animation that shows that part. So I'm just actually animating him. You don't have to place a very detailed path here, but if you want, you can also add a curve like this, so he's actually going around Sophia over there, and that's how it works. So now all you need to do is just hit enter to finish the animation, and then you can start a jogging animation. As you can see, this motion capture animation is very nice and detailed. Let me just select something else, and then now we can see how it looks like. And also there comes an interesting situation, like for example, fast moving characters like him will be very difficult to select later. And as you can see, well, it is sometimes it's very difficult to select. What can I do when I face a situation like that? You can actually at any time, by just simply enabling the object properties panel, you can just either stop all the animations like this, and then everyone goes back to the starting position, or you can start all animations, or you can also freeze all animations so they will stay where they are at that very specific moment. So in that case, it will be much easier to select Eric and edit his path, change his animation, or even change how the animation works like, and I can then individually start him only and check whether I like this animation or not. Now what I changed, actually, I want to test whether it works well, that when he's reaching the end position, he should turn around and come back in frame into the animation. Yeah, it works very good. And then in that case, I stop all the animations and I restart all the animations, and then now this is what I will have from this camera, from this specific animation. This is how it will work like. Okay, but that's not enough, because I also wanted to add cars into this animation. So I will place two cars, one here and another one the opposite direction, and they will actually pass by on the street. So I will place this car here, and I will place the other car, let me just zoom out a little bit, someplace here out of frame. So I will just see the car when it approaches the camera, when it passes by the camera. So let me just animate this hatchback car first. I again just add the new path, design the path, trying to keep the car in lane, but if I for any reason fail to do so, just as in case of manual, I can refine the path. And well, the rest is not important, that's enough here. I'll just hit enter, and then now the car starts, and if the default orientation is not good, you can do this with any objects. You can just rotate them or just type a value. In this case 0 would be great, and then you can just change the speed, which is now in this case this would be like 20 kilometer per hour or so. And again, in case of the other car, I don't need to face the car the proper way, because all I need to do is just to add a new path and then later figure out whether the orientation is okay or not. Let me just make this car going down the lane, down the street, and hit enter, and then, you know, just refine the position if it's necessary. I mean the orientation and the speed. Now let's say this car is only going 15 kilometer per hour. It's a peaceful neighborhood, and there's a speed limit here, so I'm not using fast driving cars. So this is how you can do that. So from this point of view, once I start recording it, I will have a car passing by here and another red car passing by the other way around. So this is how it will work like. Well, actually, I also have another object that I would like to show you how to animate. And there's this nice low mover here. But I would like to show you that actually this is something that I have downloaded and I placed it into the My Models. This is from 3D Warehouse. So you can actually animate any of the downloaded objects by just simply place them into your design, selecting them, and do the same. As you can see, because this is by default not an animated object, of course there is no pre-selected animation, but you can set a new path. I will design a path that resembles like a shape of an 8, like an infinite loop, like this. This is where this smart low mover is actually going around. So I stop here and I hit enter, and then it starts moving with a speed of 2 kilometers per hour, and I can change that. I can change the alignment to the path, and actually here again, if I don't want this little low mover to cross this pavement, what I can do, I can just select this, either erase that, or I can just change the position of this path someplace else, like for example to this position or to another one. Let me just select this. Sorry, I made a mistake. So I'll just place this somewhere here, so I make sure that it is actually not passing the pavement. There is one other thing that in case of an infinite loop like this, I should not forget to set up, and that is the close path. Now I actually have an open path, so whenever this this low mover reaches the endpoint, it starts being animated from here again. But if I enable the close path, you can see that now I have a nice infinite 8 shape of a number 8, and then now it keeps going around. And the reason actually it's keep playing in a loop is because this is default. The continuous playback, the loop playback, is by default on for all of the objects that you place. So it's something that you can turn off, but many times you will actually keep that on. You can this way you can turn it on or off. Okay, so this is what you can do with the objects, and this is how it looks like from this point of view once you start recording the animation. And creating an animation, I will show you how to do that in the following session, but if you would like to record that, you only need to click here, and then this will all be recorded into a video file. So this is how it goes. Let's see another example. So let me show you another interesting video where we will actually create an animation when we will follow Nathan walking around here, and at the same time we will have 2 cars passing by. So let's see what we already know. So I actually select this car, and going to the object properties, I add a new path. This will be the path. It's a very simple path. I don't want to make any curves or something into it. It's just straight coming up next to the camera or approaching the camera. I will set up a different speed and a different orientation like that. I think this is already okay, and I do the same thing with this red car, and I add a new path. I will try to keep that in lane. It is actually going farther down the street. Length is not that important because I'm only interested in what happens here. So I just hit enter, and I again change the orientation, and I change the speed if it's necessary. This should be a little bit faster, perhaps, like that. Okay, so this is how I set up the 2 cars, and then I do the same thing, or at least something similar with the human character here. I just select that, I zoom in a little bit more like that. Let me just turn the camera a little bit around, And once the human asset is selected, I will add a new path. This will be again very simple. Let me just move that around and place it someplace over there, approaching that lady on the street. And then I just hit enter. And once the character is already aligned to the path, all I do is just again select the walking animation, and he starts walking along this path. So now I also would like to show you how to record this with an animation and how to define that camera animation when the camera is actually kind of following him. So for that, first I will find the initial position for the camera. So I will just deselect everything, so I won't have anything like that. And then let me just move the camera around, and I want to have the first frame someplace here so I can see the first building and the location from where Nathan starts walking. And then I add a new animation, a completely new animation. So this will be the first frame. The first frame is where I were with the camera when I hit this button. And then now I can add the new frame. But before I do that, I also set up the sun position. So I would like to have a nice afternoon, perhaps somewhere in the spring like this. And okay. So yes, and I would like to match the starting and the ending date. And then I add the new camera. Well, I have two ways to do that. First, I can add the camera here and then I refine the position, or I can go to the new location and then I can add the new camera. So what I do now, I just add the new location, which is now identical to the first one. So this is the first one, this is the second one. And with the second selected, I will try to find the best position. It should be someplace here over the cars and turning a little bit to the right like this. I think this will be okay. And then because this is the old frame, I need to, you know, update the current keyframe. So now I have actually two positions, the first one and the second one here, but it's a very short animation because it's only 1 second by default. And I would like to make like I don't know, like 8 seconds animation. And then once I do that, now it's automatically updated. And if I start, you know, let me just check again the two positions. This will do with the last one. This is the first one. And let's just start playing that, see how that looks like before we record. So we will have the cars passing by, nicely, smoothly following him. Perhaps I could make it a little bit slower, but this is how it will look like. And then all I need to do is just to click on this button to generate the video file. So let's see how that whole thing looks like in the end. So this is what we end with the animation. So I used animated humans either standing in place or talking to each other, running or jogging, and also I added a few cars. I made the low mover as an automatic path, and I also created a following path. So this is how you can do that. Okay, so this is it. This is how easily you can create an animated video with walking people, moving vehicles, and such things. So it was part of today's presentation of the user project, which again, I would like to say a thank you for. And I would like to highlight that below me you can see the link from where you can download either the trial version or the purchased version of your live license. And also you can find further tutorials and other materials there if you would like to further immerse into the software. I mean, learning and getting to know what else you can do with the software. Let's see whether we have a few questions here. Let me just go back and see whether I have a few questions here. Yeah, I actually do have. There is one question asking me whether does this work with any imported object? So the question is perhaps does the animation, the path animation or any of these animations work with any sort of imported object? Yes, it is. Actually, if you download an SKP file, you can import that into ARCHLine. If you use Sketchup, you can do that as well. If you use ARCHLine, I mean the design software, then you can do the same thing. From there, you can send over the whatever you download. Actually, I have downloaded a lawnmower, and I think there was a kind of an SUV that is also something that you can animate. So you're free to do whatever you wish. And you just place down the object and you set up the path and then the speed, and that's it. That's how easily you can animate any sort of object. Another question is, yeah, and it's kind of connecting to this question is, can I animate a sliding door? Yes, I would say in that case, all you need to do is just to, again, select the sliding door. Preferably this should be one single object, and then with this sliding door, what you need to do is just to, at the bottom set up the starting point and the end point. So that's all you need to do. Just add a path, another point, and then just start animating it with a certain speed, like a slower or high speed. And then if you shut down the continuous playment, the continuous playback, in that case it won't always reset, but it will play only once, and then that's it. So, or you can just use a ping pong animation, but perhaps that's not the best for a sliding door. So yes, you can. Another question is, can I use this with SketchUp? Yes, you can. We actually had a webinar about that, perhaps the last week. You should find that in the webinar sessions. It is called Live Sync with SketchUp. So if you do not have the ARCHLine.XP design software, but you would like to use ARCHLine.XP Live, which is a standalone ArcViz software, together with your existing SketchUp license, you're free to do that. Just download that. You should also find the Google SketchUp plugin that you can download, and then you can do a synchronized connection. So whenever your design in SketchUp changes, then you can just update those changes into the design. The ArcViz software, and with all the changes that you have made with the sound and the renderings and the camera settings and everything will be kept, and only the changes will be synchronized there. A good question comes here. What happens when I delete the path? Will that erase the character too? No. When you, I think I did that, but if not, it's very simple. You just have a character, you have an animation path, and if you click on the little X to erase that path, then the character will be reset to the original position from where it started its path. So it won't get lost. It will just it will just jump back where it started off, and then you can design a new path. So it's a very simple thing. You won't lose the character just because you erase the path. Another path related question, can I elevate the node or the full path? Yes. When you select a node, that was the little tiny sphere, then you have the vertical axis also. So if you would like to change whether it should climb something that you later pasted into the model or something like that, you can do that. However, you should take care of high slopes or something like that. You will probably end up with strange animations if you do a very distorted animated path or something like that. But other than that, yes, you can. And if you would like to elevate the whole path, then instead of elevating the nodes node by node, all you need to do is just as I did, stop the animation, select the character, and then you will see the 3 axes appearing if you click on the move node. And then when you elevate the character, the connected path will automatically be elevated together with the character. So that's how you do that. You can either change the nodes one by one, or you can just stop the whole animation, elevate the character, and that will elevate. And actually, if you would like to, you can also rotate the character with its path. So that also works. So all sort of transformation works like that. And there is, I think this is the last question. It's the question about, so can I record a smooth video with a low frame rate? Perhaps because it's but my last video part was with, it was kind of laggy because I have to stream this, record it, and also do a lot of things on the same machine, and it's a relatively dense model. So the live playback during when I was editing the model, it was kind of, you know, a little bit lagging and a little bit lower FPS. But when you record the video, it won't get affected. So the video won't consider the real-time playback speed. It will record the exact same FPS that you determine to have. I think that's by default 30 FPS, but you can increase it in the settings. You can also change the not just the FPS number, but you can also change whether the resolution should be identical your screen resolution or something like something different. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. Thank you for everyone coming to see this exciting feature of ARCHLine.XP Live. We can't wait to release this to you, and you can use it in the following version of the software. Until that, should you have any other question, even after this show is not live already, then just leave a comment below. If you liked this content, please don't forget to like us and subscribe to our channel so we can provide many more interesting videos and webinars like this, and you will get the notification once we publish a new solution or a new video tutorial or something like that. So again, thank you for coming, and I hope you liked this content. See you next time.